Deep in the heart of Texas is where we find Medal of Honor Field, where today two of the longest standing franchises in SFL history go head-to-head as they try to solidify themselves a place near the top of the standings as the season hits its midway point. Hello everybody, and a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. My name is Michael Trillo. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Jack Brown, along with Justin Reside and Ike McBride on stats. Jack, we should have an interesting game today against two teams that have met a lot of times, and the team that has dominated this rivalry is probably not who you think it is.
That's right, Mike. You're talking about two of the longest standing franchises in the league, but for Mexico City, playing this franchise at them has been one of their longest struggles. They are 0-9 when hitting the road to take on the Lone Star Glory or their previous incarnations. As a matter of fact, the road team in general has struggled in this series, Mike. The last time the road team won here, it was Season 9, and Lone Star was known as the Dallas Roughnecks.
And overall, it's 11 wins, 4 losses for Lone Star in this matchup. Mexico City has been known as the Santa Fe Gorillas all the way back to Season 5. There's been a lot of bouncing around for this Lone Star Glory team throughout the years. Most of the time in Texas. They started as the Dallas Law back in Season 6. They were the Roughnecks for 4 seasons. Then the Lobos for 2 seasons, all under the ownership of Stephen Molinax. Then they took a 2-season diversion up to Seattle in the Pacific Northwest to become the Seattle Tyrants, and then back down here to Texas to become the Lone Star Glory in Season 15, where they have remained to this day. Mexico City, red, white, white. White, blue, gray for Lone Star, who will receive the opening kickoff as Cole Varner puts it up high in the sky. It's going to be returned about up to the 21-yard line, and let's take a look at that Lone Star Glory starting offense. Ace Fennick is the high-flying quarterback for Lone Star. Ike McBride is the running back. Mateo Privado, the fullback. Ziggy Ronick is the wide receiver, along with Greg Soto and Deuce Fennick. B. Robo is also out there at wideout. Tight ends Garrison Blue and Hank Earl Troll. First down and 10 from the 21. They go left to right in the blue and white. 2 receivers left, single right, offset eye behind, and Fennick's pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Garrison Blue. Here's the Mexico City starting defense. On the defensive line, we've got Ziggy Blaylock and Skylar Kingsley, Bernard Pattison and Dan Tritz. Dexter Jackson, John Fowler, and Ronnie Watson are the linebackers. Corners, there are a lot of them. Braylon King Moore, Gerard Brody, Liam Ryland, and Jermaine Menafield. And the safeties are newly minted Hall of Famer Jeffrey Daggs and Ben Charbs. Second down and 10 for the 21. Fennick looking, throws underneath to Deuce Fennick, and that'll be a third down and 5.
Yeah, Mike, Ace Fennick has been off to a high-flying start so far this season. He currently is tied for the league lead in passing touchdowns alongside Kentez Johnson over in Charleston. He's been the guy to go to for this Lone Star team in their air raid attack.
They do throw the ball about 70% of the time. Fennick dips under a tackle, throws it down the field, and it's intercepted. Maybe a little bit too long on the throw, and it's taken away by Ben Charbs.
Yeah, it just seemed to be that Ace Fennick was never able to get his feet settled. And then, of course, Ben just came out of nowhere. The ball was a bit of an errant throw. I don't even think that would have been caught if he wasn't there. And so Matt Wilson and company are able to come out for their first time today.
Ben Charbs takes his first interception on the season, his 10th on the career, and it's a great starting field position for Mexico City on the Lone Star side of the 50 at the 48-yard line. Wilson in the gun, 5 wide receivers. The lefty throws to the far side of the field across his body, and the pass is caught. Tackle made by Bogey Barr. Here is the Lone Star starting defense. Yukon Rukin, Yogi Barr, Stephen Fellows, and Tina Begin on the defensive line. Bogey Barr, who just made that tackle. Freddie Trammell and Jay Mart, the linebackers. Mickey McGuire, Bo Martin Jr., the corners. Rain Rie, Jeff McCauley, Albert Begin, and Nate Hall are the safeties. There's a run up the middle from the first of Mexico City's dual threat rushing attack. Phoenix Jones gets the ball to the 41. It'll be third down and 3.
Yeah, Mike, we were talking about this prior to the game, but with Mexico City being the second team in the SFL's long history to adopt a 2 running back system, they're a little bit more even with how they distribute it between Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley.
And both of them flank Matt Wilson here on 3rd down and 3. Likely one of them's getting the ball. No. Wilson's going to throw over the middle. And a diagonal pass complete to Mike Daggs all the way down to the 26-yard line. 1st down Aztecs.
And as Mike Daggs likes to say, throw it to the tight end. Mike Daggs, one of the premier tight ends here in the Simulation Football League, going down deep, showing that he can be just as much a receiving threat as Mexico City's many wide receivers.
We talked about the duality of Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley in the backfield. Jones gets about 50% more carries than Ray Bentley does, and Jones gets the carry that time on 1st down. I'll go through the entirety of the Mexico City offense for you now. Matt Wilson, the quarterback, Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley, the 2 running backs, Jason Bartley, Nick Lockett, Terrell Cooper, and Jacob McCall, the wide receivers, Bill Henry and Mike Daggs, the aforementioned tight ends. But 192 rushing yards for Phoenix Jones coming into the game, 109 for Ray Bentley. Bunch formation left, single right, Wilson under center, single back. It's going to be play action for Wilson. Has time to throw, goes underneath, and fighting for 1st down yardage is Ray Bentley as he makes his first contribution to the ball game through the air.
Yeah, Ray Bentley already helping out this Aztecs offense here, as the Aztecs are looking like they're already taking an early control of this ball game.
Matt Wilson, 121 attempts, 93 completions coming into the game. He hands the ball off up the middle. Phoenix Jones will pick up about 4, and that's really all you want from a feature back in a downhill running set like this. Pick up 4 or 5 every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, realistically, so long as you do that, keep the offense on schedule, and so long as you can do that, then you're good.
Talking about offense, 35 points per game for Mexico City so far this season. That puts them top 5 in the SFL. They'll bunch formation out to the left. Throw to the top of the screen. That's Mike Daggs, and he cannot overcome the lone tackler out there, but he can pick up 1st down yardage, sets up a 1st and goal at the 2.
Nice job there from Mike Daggs. Not really much more he could have gotten out of that with the defender right in front of him. So that will set up 1st and goal for him.
I formation, Jones dots it. From just outside the 2-yard line, Jones, middle, fighting his way towards the goal line. He will not get there. Nice tackle right up the middle by Tina Begin, and it sets up 2nd and goal.
Yeah, this Lone Star Glory defense here, Mike, they are one of the stingiest on the running attack. Just 2 rushing touchdowns allowed through the first 4 games, and only 80 rushing yards allowed.
That's an average per game, and then rushing allowed total. Here is Wilson, going to look to the air, and wide open underneath on a curl is Nick Lockett. He unlocks the end zone, and Mexico City leads.
And well, Mike, on the inverse, Lone Star doesn't exactly do a good job from keeping receivers out the end zone. They've let up 10 passing touchdowns through the first few weeks, bottom 3 in the league coming into week 5.
That is the 11th passing touchdown against for the Lone Star Glory. Nick Lockett grabs his first receiving touchdown of the season. He only averages 9 yards a game, 81 total. But he gets the Aztecs off the mark, so Mexico City converts their turnover into points. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. So it was a pretty disastrous opening stint for Lone Star on offense. And we're going to see now if Ace Fennick and company can keep it clean and march down the field on their second time out. They'll start from just about where they started their first drive at the 22-yard line, so they've gained 1 more yard. One receiver each side, tight ends aplenty on the field for Lone Star. Fennec pressured, has to throw. It's almost intercepted, but it is complete.
Fennec able there to thread the needle.
Yeah, that'll be Leonard Funk Jr. on the catch.
Yeah, Funk just let it outside far enough. And, well, Fennec responded accordingly. That could have been a pick six, and Mexico City picked that off. But fortunately for Lone Star, they didn't.
Now, the corner guarding Funk tried to jump the route and just couldn't get his fingertips to it. Bunch formation left, single right. He'll be a first running play of the game for Lone Star, and it works out brilliantly as bouncing it outside is Ike McBride, and she picks up a first down to the 38.
Lone Star not being one of the premier running attacks here in the SFL. You wouldn't believe that after you saw a run like that from Ike McBride, able to bounce it off to the outside, got the blockers, and a little bit further downfield got some too. It was a textbook perfect run.
Ike McBride, while Lone Star doesn't have the regimen of being a running team, so to speak, McBride can take over games by herself if she wants. There's a pass out of the backfield. Nice tackle one-on-one of the backfield by Jermaine Menafield to lose Lone Star 2 yards. To finish my point, there was a game, I believe it was week 1 of last season, where Ike McBride just went off and scored 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half and led Lone Star to victory over Florida. But now behind the chains, Lone Star going to probably have to rely on the arm of Ace. Fennec under center. They are going to hand it off through an I formation. And the tackle is made through the middle by John Fowler on McBride.
Nice job there for John Fowler, just plugging up the hole, preventing Lone Star from getting many yards.
McBride on the season, 63 carries, 359 yards, an average of 5.7 per carry, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Remember that Ace Fennec's 10 passing touchdowns are tops in the SFL so far. There's a gun straight pass over the middle, complete for a first down across the 50, picked up by Deuce Fennec. Ace to Deuce connection. It's been in the league for 4 seasons now, and it continues to be dynamic.
Yeah, it seemed to be that Mexico City had their linebackers playing up a little bit too close line, left that middle wide open, and Lone Star exploited it.
First time into enemy territory for the Glory on the afternoon. Fennec hit as he throws, and it's almost intercepted. That ball was wobbling in the air, and Dan Tritz had a perfect opportunity at it, but that's not a situation a defensive tackle usually finds himself in, and the ball falls to the turf.
No, it is not. And especially, generally speaking, you don't expect a linebacker to be in coverage, never mind to get the whole zone to himself. But on that nickel package, that's clearly what Mexico City was intending to do.
Thankful for not another turnover. Lone Star gets it back, 2nd and 10 of the 48. Handoff to the fullback, Mateo Pravado, the second season player. And he will fall forward for 5, brings up a 3rd down and that many.
Nice job to even it out there. Didn't need that much. And now Lone Star, their playbook pretty much opens right back up.
3rd down and 5. Something that has kept this Lone Star passing attack ticking along this season. And I'll finish my point after this play. Fennec, plenty of time, moves to her left, and it's intercepted off the deflection. Taken away by Liam Ryan, and it's a 2nd turnover for Lone Star. Mexico City has the ball back at their own 33.
Looked like once again it was a sort of tip drill. Nobody on Lone Star seemed to be really set in their place. And it was just a simple tip and grab, and the Australian gets his first pick of the ball game.
Gerard Brody is credited with the deflection, and Ryan picks up the interception. And once again, it is Wilson and company back out to work for Mexico City. For a team, Wilson fires middle. It's bouncing around like a pinball machine. And incomplete. Last to touch the ball was Mickey McGuire. For a team that has not won on the road in this matchup ever, it's certainly a strong start for the side from south of the border.
Yeah, it's still very early on in this game, though, Mike. Anything can happen, but Mexico City is on to a good start. 2 turnovers against one of the top passing offenses in the league. If I were Ramos Lynn, I'd be happy to see it.
Single receiver, 2 tight ends set to the left. Only a single back. Wilson is going to air it out down the field into single coverage. It's caught, and down the sideline goes the receiver. A touchdown-saving tackle by Albert Begin, but it was stretching out to make the catch was Jason Bartley.
Albert Begin putting the end to that play from Jason Bartley. Surprised, though, that he was that close. Seemed to be that the defense was on a little bit more of a deep coverage. They almost saw it coming. But unfortunately for them, Mexico City is still on their side of the field.
And that is just a straight go route from Jason Bartley, and he outran the coverage. Here's up the middle. Here goes Phoenix Jones. Stiff arms the defender into the dirt and falls forward to the 14-yard line. A 15-yard pickup for Jones.
And now this Mexico City offense is moving like a well-oiled machine, powering themselves off the fuel source of turnovers.
Back into the red zone for the second time go the Mexico City Aztecs. First time they were there, it was a 1-yard touchdown pass from Wilson to Nick Lockett. Split backs, 2 right, single left. 7 to the box for Lone Star. Wilson takes a 3-step drop, looks to the right-hand side of the field. Catch is made, and a tackle is succinctly made to prevent Bartley from high-stepping into the end zone on the right-hand sideline. That was Begin again.
The Begin-Bartley rivalry clearly is looking to be one of the key flashpoints in this game here, Mike. Just on this drive alone, Begin's probably stopped 2 potential touchdown plays from Bartley.
This time back on the ground. Phoenix Jones looking for an opening. Will not find one. Driven backwards by Jukin Rukin and company. And it's going to be 3rd down and 1.
They piled on further. And Phoenix Jones not able to get the first down against this very stingy Lone Star run defense.
Jukin Rukin, that's his 15th tackle of the season. He's got 4 sacks and 6 tackles for loss as well. They're going to go in the I formation again. Phoenix Jones powers through, gets the first down, but not the touchdown. And it's 1st and goal at the 1. Jack, we've been here before, not so long ago.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of Groundhog's Day as we approach the end of the first quarter here, Mike. Mexico City just tearing up this Lone Star defense like there's some Texas pulled pork.
And the run game has been working, but Wilson going to go to the air. Forced to step to his left. It's tipped. It's hanging in the air, and it eventually falls to the ground. Jacob McCall had the best shot at it for Mexico City. I did not see who tipped it for Lone Star.
Yeah, it looked like it bounced right off Jacob McCall's shoulder pads. Unfortunately, not able to get the arms up and grab that football. Makes it 2nd and goal once again at the 1.
Well, last time they were in this position, it was the touchdown pass from Wilson to Lockett. This time they're set up in the I formation. Goal line defense for Lone Star. They've only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns this season, and it is not going to be it is going to be 3 now as Phoenix Jones barely edges the nose of the football over the goal line. Touchdown, Mexico City.
Got to keep those wheels turning. And when you're a running back, there's a reason why you work out your legs so often for plays just like that. And Mexico City up 14-0 towards the end of this first quarter. Looking like a good start for them.
It almost looked like the Lone Star front 7 had done enough to keep Phoenix Jones out of the end zone, but the line judge raised his hands, and Mexico City celebrates a 2-touchdown lead. Cole Varner puts the extra point up and good. 14-0 off of 2 Lone Star interceptions. One of them really not Ace Fennick's fault. Took a wild deflection, but the other one was just kind of wild. And this was the point that I wanted to bring up right before the interception happened, the last one that is, that Ace Fennick has only been sacked 4 times this season. That's good for 3rd place in the SFL. But the Mexico City defensive line has done a good enough job pressuring and forcing Fennick to move out of the pocket that they're forcing mistakes.
Yeah, realistically, the sack is just the pinnacle of what you want as a defensive lineman. If you're a defensive line coach, you're just looking at your guys to really cause anxiety in the quarterback and force him to make errant throws. And so far, I would say Mexico City's done a really good job at that.
Well, both of the interceptions for Mexico City have come on plays where Fennec has had to scramble. The first one to the right, the second one to the left. And now the third time on the field. Let's see if it is the charm for Lone Star. 35 seconds left to go in a wild first quarter that has seen Mexico City dominate. Ike McBride try to get around the left-hand side and will only pick up about 4 yards.
Nice job there by the left tackle to keep Mexico City's defender at bay. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough to really seal off the outside completely. Still got good yardage, though.
There may not be one other snap in this first quarter, but that is if Fennec decides it. 10-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. 3-2. There will be one more play in the first quarter. Fennec throws complete, but only for a loss of 1, as going backwards, is Greg Soto. And it'll be 3rd down and 7 when we start the second quarter. 1 down, 3 to go. Mexico City with a 2-score lead here at Medal of Honor Field in Texas. We'll be back in a moment. This is the Simulation Football League on Rare Drop Sports. Second quarter about to get underway. My name is Michael Trillo. Jack Brown, the other voice you are hearing alongside me. Ike McBride and Justin reside on Stats. Cameron Irvine, as always, is our producer. Happy to have your company on this beautiful Saturday evening. And there's a pass right over the middle and complete to Greg Soto, who makes up for his mistake on the last play by picking up the first down on this play.
Greg Soto just settled into his route, and Ace Fennec delivered a missile over the middle of the field. There was nowhere else on the entire planet that would have gone to, but right where Ace Fennec wanted it to.
And we mentioned that these two quarterbacks are, Ace Fennec is tops in touchdowns, but is all the way at the bottom in completion percentage. Going to try to work on that, as there is Soto again racing forward, first down, eventually tackled by Liam Ryan.
Yes, Soto now making it up for that pass that was thrown well behind the line of scrimmage. Couldn't make up from that, but he's making up for it in stride, gaining about 20 yards in the last 2 plays.
And into Mexico City territory for the second time. Coming open on a crossing route and dropping the football is Soto. He's been targeted 3 straight times, 2 catches, 1 drop.
Yeah, it looked like Soto was playing a little bit too much with the fancy fingers there and was thinking a little bit too far ahead. He was lucky that one wasn't picked off. There were not 1, not 2, but 3 Aztecs right there sniffing blood with that football.
Ben Charbs was in the area looking for his second pick, and Jermaine Menafield was the other danger man there. Second down and 10, no harm done, except just the loss to down for Lone Star. Fennec, the handoff, McBride on a counter, and it is read well by the Mexico City defense. Coming up to make the tackle is Charbs from the safety spot.
Yeah, that's always a good sign there for your defense. If you can get those safety blitzes involved more often, you can really clamp down on the opposing team's rushing attack.
And a lot of teams really use that counter run to bully defenses that try and stack up the middle. But that time, Mexico City wise to it. 5 wide on 3rd and 8. Fennec, a laser to the near side. It's deflected and incomplete. It almost back into the hands of the intended receiver, B. Robo. But it falls incomplete. We're going to see our first punt of the day with Max Luna trotting out to the field for the Lone Star Glory.
Yeah, it seemed to be on that play. It just was a little bit too far off. I think had the deflection not happened, that probably could have gone for 6. Unfortunately, Lone Star is just going to have to settle for a punt.
Now, 3rd and long is always tough. There's not a lot of plays you can put in the playbook that will consistently get you first downs. Fair catch called for, and Mexico City is going to have to start deep in their own territory. This is the first time they'll have had the football, having not intercepted it previously. Jeffrey Daggs called for the halt there. They will have the ball at their 11 yard line.
Definitely an interesting place to start here for Mexico City. Worst field position they've had to start today.
But Mexico City has driven down the field very efficiently on their previous 2 drives, both of them for touchdowns. Wilson, a left-hand laser for a first down to Bartley, as Jason Bartley is quickly becoming Wilson's favorite target here this evening.
And you really can't blame Matt Wilson for choosing Bartley so often. The man's getting open, he's getting space, and he also is making a lot out of really simple routes that are very low-risk throws.
Wilson, 2-step drop out of the backfield. Bentley gets walloped at the line of scrimmage. Flying through to make the tackle was, I believe, Forrest Everhart. Oh, excuse me, that was Jay Mart who made the tackle. Only the second touch for Bentley on the game. Wilson on play action. Pump fakes, throws short. There's Bentley again as he falls forward short of the first down. Going to be 3rd down and 3 from the 28.
I think that's one of the first times ever I've seen a lob ball go for so little yards. However, for Ray Bentley, gets it right back up for a 3rd and 3 and makes up for the disaster on the last play.
3rd down and 3, definitely doable for this Mexico City offense, but Lone Star wants to get off the field. They will not, however, as that's a nice little curl route to get the yardage that they needed. Jacob McCall, the recipient of that grab.
Yeah, McCall just ran up, just did a simple little, just wanted that ball right there. Matt Wilson saw it, threw it, 1st down.
I formation, nobody out wide. Running all the way is Phoenix Jones. Trying to break it to the outside and does not get there. Bogey Barr eventually puts him down after a gain of only 1.
If I can give credit where credit's due for Lone Star, they have been doing an okay job at squashing the rushing attack from Mexico City, as you see there on the stat, or only about 35 yards so far. Still a little bit more than what Lone Star has, but not exactly great.
But still, all the statistics favor Mexico City at this early stage of the game as that ball is deflected. Wide open behind the defense was Jason Bartley. If that ball is allowed to get to his hands, he is gone for sure. But Mickey McGuire made the crucial interception, or deflection, I should say.
I was going to say, that's not an interception there. But yeah, it just seemed to be that he got his arm right up there. Pretty much the ball fell right back down to earth the second it came in contact.
I've been watching too much soccer today. Here's a free play as the left tackle jumps off sides for Lone Star. Try to go for it all, try to find Jacob McCall over the middle. That pass is incomplete, broken up by Albert Begin. Begin has been all over the field today. Definitely defensive MVP so far for Lone Star.
That he has been. Although, unfortunately for them, that is going to be still a net gain for Mexico City, as they're going to gain 5 yards on that free play, and they're going to get a replay on the 3rd down.
Yeah, 4 total tackles for Albert Begin, and now a pass deflection. And 2 of those tackles saved touchdowns, although Mexico City went on to score at the back end of that drive anyway. Two right, single left. Wilson alone with 2 tight ends right. Against the 4-man rush, Wilson stands in, floats it beautifully over the top of a defender, and Jason Bartley cashes in for a 1st down, and Bartley is not getting up.
Oh, that is a rough one for the Aztecs. Bartley struggling to get up. Mike Daggs checking in on him. Not exactly sure what happened. He caught the ball easily. It might have just been like a bad hit, rolled an ankle or something. That's what it looks like from up here.
Yeah, well, Matt Wilson, at least for now, loses his favorite target. 5 receptions for 74 yards before the injury to Jason Bartley. So we shall see where Mexico City moves to in their offensive focal point. Wilson had a pincher maneuver coming towards him, finds Mike Daggs. What did Mexico City do when they were in a pinch? They find number 83, second down and less than 1.
Yeah, literally right after he says in the chat, throw to the tight end, they do exactly what they did. Now, I would like to point it out to Mike Daggs, you still didn't get the first down, so I'm not sure if you got 100% there.
Well, second down and inches. I'm sure if any coach in the league and in the entire history of football will take second and inches every single time. High formation. Dotted by Jones. Phoenix Jones falls forward, can't get there. A duo tackle job of Bo Martin Jr. and Jay Mart prevents the first down, and it's 3rd and inches.
Yeah, the running defense from Lone Star getting right up where they need to be. I would expect another run, though, from Mexico City this close.
They are going to hand it to Jones, and this time the offensive line makes the hole. And despite Jay Mart's tackle, it is a first down for Mexico City as their drive continues. We're almost halfway through the second quarter already, Jack. This game has gone by in the blink of an eye.
That it has. And a large portion of that is the fact that Mexico City, they just like to sit on the ball. They're taking their sweet time getting down the field. Not really in too many big plays except for that one throw to Bartley.
Dominating the time of possession by nickel and diming and running up the middle. There's a pass to the outside, finds McCall, tackled by Bo Martin Jr. The SFL is partnered with Rare Drop and Rare Drop Sports to advance live events and distribution. Live and in-person championship weekends, rookie drafts, and community events are in the works. Check out SFL games on their Twitch channel, that's right here, Friday through Sunday evenings, and follow Rare Drop Sports at twitch.tv/RD Sports. Stepping up in the absence of Jason Bartley is Terrell Cooper as he picks up the first down on a crossing pattern.
Yeah, it seems to be that Matt Wilson still likes throwing that way, and you can't blame him. Even Terrell Cooper is doing a decent job getting the yards, and Mexico City is right outside the red zone.
Terrell Cooper is a rookie second-round selection out of San Jose. Only had 4 receptions on the season coming into the game. Wilson on play action. Flat across the middle. Turning upfield is Lockett, and he's going to pick up a first down and goal to the 7. So the 3rd time in a row on 3 consecutive Mexico City drives, they have marched their way all the way down inside the 10.
Yeah, Mexico City's offense working like a well-oiled machine. They don't even. It's looking like they don't even need turnovers to keep going.
Remember, this drive started at their own 11-yard line. Bunch formation left, single right. Again on play action to the back of the end zone. A penalty flag flies, but it is a beautiful catch in the back of the end zone by Jacob McCall. We will check the penalty to see if this touchdown stands.
And yes, it will. Late hit on the glory.
That's going to be charged against Mickey McGuire with that late hit penalty. The touchdown stands, and Mexico City takes a 3-touchdown lead here late in the second quarter.
Yeah, Mexico City, they heard our little statements in the opening about them never winning against this team on the road, and they have taken it to heart. 21-zip, and Lone Star hasn't even really gotten a real offensive drive together. Oh, it's blocked!
The extra point is blocked. That's a bit of a rarity in the SFL. Cole Varner, usually so efficient, gets that one swatted away, but it's still a 20-point lead for Mexico City. And Ramos Lynn and the rest of the Mexico City staff have basically, sans that missed extra point, have had this half go perfectly to plan.
Yeah, that blocked extra point was a bit of a freakish anomaly. Don't see that happen too often in this league, but overall the drive was great. One of the best I've seen this season. And really, I don't know if Lone Star has the capabilities to slow down this Mexico City offense.
Yeah. 15 plays, 91 yards, and ending in a 7-yard passing touchdown. And it's got to start now for Lone Star. 3:56 to go in the half. And Mexico City, if you remember, will get the ball out of halftime. Up the middle, Ike McBride gets past the first defender. Cannot get past the waiting arms of John Fowler. Of the 15 total meetings between these two teams, 2 of them have happened in the playoffs. The first one back in Season 8 when the Dallas Roughnecks defeated Mexico City 24-17. The second one in Season 12. I'll finish my point after this. Long pass from Fennec is knocked away on the back end by Ben Charbs. Charbs has been all over the field for Mexico City, kind of like Begin has for Lone Star on the defensive end.
Yeah, it seems to be that that the defensive secondaries are really pulling out all the stops in this game. Ben Charbs, though, still has that little bit of an upper hand with the defensive interception to tie in.
And the second time that these two teams met in the playoffs was still before the Lone Star glory era. It was the Dallas Lobos blowing out the Aztecs 58-39. Excuse me, that was the regular season matchup in Season 8. In Season 12, it was a defensive slugfest, 12-10. Lone Star, at that point, the Dallas Lobos coming out on top.
Yeah, and that was actually my last game ever with the Mexico City Aztecs at that point in time. Little known factoid.
Lone Star did pick up a first down there, pass across the middle as we tick under 3 minutes to go in the first half of action. 2 receivers out to the right, both tight ends set out that way as well. Sidearm sling over the middle into traffic and off the shoulder pad of Garrison Blue, who found a little pocket of space across the middle but could not haul the ball in.
Yeah, it seems to be Kingsley just got his hands, caused a little bit of a disturbance, and the ball just fell to the ground. Can't really expect a guy to hold on in those situations.
Second down and 10. Mexico City's defense has been particularly stringent today with the 2 interceptions, as well as not really letting Ike McBride, who has the ball right now, get anywhere. Third down and 10. Another no gain on the play.
That basically sums up what has been going on in this game so far. A little microcosm, if you will, where Mexico City has just been absolutely demolishing Lone Star in terms of their defensive performance. Lone Star can get a little bit here and there. They can get a little bit done, but it's never really enough.
They have never really threatened the end zone. Third down and 10, 5 wide. Fennec gonna laser it down the right-hand side, and it's deflected. The exact mirror of the play that happened on 3rd and 8 on Lone Star's last drive. The exact same outcome happens where Lone Star will be forced to punt after a knockdown.
Yeah, I like what Lone Star is trying to do here. They're trying to throw the ball deep. They're trying to just get those big chunk plays. However, it just seems to me that it's not really working out really at all, with very few of them even getting caught, with 2 of them obviously going as interceptions.
Luna back out to punt the ball away. This will be better starting field position for Mexico City as they'll get it at the 29-yard line. 1 second left before the 2-minute warning. And a chance to really turn the screws like they haven't been turned already, but a chance to go up 4 possessions before the end of the first half. Mexico City has found the end zone on each of its first 3 possessions. Hand off middle, there's Ray Bentley. Bentley gets a block, and he almost breaks free. He was tackled by Albert Begin, who makes a potential 3rd touchdown-saving tackle of the game. And that brings us to the first half 2-minute warning. It's all Aztecs all the time as they look for their first ever road win at Lone Star. This is the Simulation Football League on Rare Drop Sports. Wilson on play action. 3 defenders in his face, delivers a mighty throw. It was a little bit low, but Jason Bartley went down and got it. First down.
Hey, look who's back. It's Jason Bartley. Good to see.
It wasn't really on the sideline for all that long, and we didn't even get an injury report, so it must not have been that bad. Maybe a rolled ankle. Those often can hurt you for a little bit, but you're back up in no time at all.
Yeah, meanwhile, looks like the Glory are getting a little bit chippy here against the Aztecs, as that is their second penalty here on defense in the same number of drives. That's going to probably add on a few more yards.
Back to the I formation. It's going to be another free play, third penalty on the day for Lone Star. And so the result of that play doesn't really matter too much. It was a nice tackle to the hole by Tina Begin.
Number 60, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
And Jukin Rukin jumps offside. Excuse me, that was the fourth penalty against Lone Star. Rukin has now jumped offside twice.
Man, it seems to be that, like, the Lone Star team here, they're kind of losing a little bit of their composure. They're not doing too hot with 4 penalties so far, and, you know, obviously 2 of them back-to-back.
I mean, you come out on your home turf against a team that's never beaten you here, and you get punched in the mouth like Mexico City is doing. It does sap a little bit of your composure away. Up the middle again goes Phoenix Jones. He only gets 1 yard that side. Esports TV has partnered with the SFL to bring sim football to millions of homes over the next 2 years. ESTV is the world's first 24/7 live, linear, and video-on-demand esports channel, available anywhere through your smart TV, on your phone, through Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, and more. Up the middle, falling forward for 2 yards into the third and 1. There's Bentley. Visit estv.co to learn more about its programming and to find all the ways you can catch the SFL action on the network. Just over a minute to go, second quarter. Mexico City up by 20, driving to make it more as they're just outside the red zone. Phoenix Jones gets the deep handoff and falls forward for another first down to the 16. Here comes the hurry-up offense. Both teams still with all 3 timeouts. Phoenix Jones tries to fight through the middle. Doesn't get very far, and is tackled by Jay Martin.
You know, I'm a little bit surprised that Mexico City is actually the one calling the first time out of the 3 here. You know, they're clearly looking to extend their lead going into the half, but they also get the ball to start the second half, so it's a little bit surprising to me that they're going, that they're looking to go up 4 possessions.
And I think at this point, Mexico City is just, let's blow them out. Let's make this as much of an embarrassment as possible. They're already up 20-0, 43 seconds to go in the first half. Wilson, 5-step drop, plenty of time. Laser beam to the end zone, caught for the touchdown. And look who it is. It's the other tight end, Bill Henry.
Hey, throwing it to the tight end. Doesn't matter which tight end. And Mexico City looking to go up 20. They're currently at 26. But with the extra point, they could be up 27-0 heading into halftime. And Mexico City has just utterly dominated the Glory.
First touchdown on the season for Bill Henry. 9th of his career, so we're watching out for a little bit of a milestone here if he gets another one. They're not going to go for 2 to try and restore the 4-touchdown lead exactly. They will go up 27-0 with 40 seconds to go in the opening half. Well, if you had asked me to predict what kind of game we would have gotten today, this probably would have been pretty low on my list, because these 2 teams on paper seemed pretty evenly matched coming into the game. Mexico City 2-1, Lone Star 2-2, both fighting for divisional supremacy there. But it's really been all Mexico City, and we've seen in the past, and you know more than most, Jack, as a former Mexico City Aztec, sometimes the Aztecs just do this to people.
Yeah, every so often, the Aztecs will decide that they're not going to play around, and they're going to have a little fun, and they're going to completely and utterly decimate you. They're the only team, I think, in SFL history, actually, to achieve back-to-back shutouts. And so, just every so often, they'll have these absolutely dominating games.
Sometimes Ramos, Lynn, and company wakes up and shows violence, and they choose violence again as it's a third interception of the half. This time coming the way of the linebacker Dexter Jackson.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ace Fennick continues to struggle here, throwing yet another interception. Safe to say this has not been a glorious Saturday, or at least a glorious first half to start with.
And with 30 seconds left, we could be talking about a 5-score deficit at the end of the first half.
I mean, it's not impossible.
They're certainly in a passing formation with bunch right, single left. Wilson looking, floats it, complete to Lockett, who picks up a first down.
Just lofts that one to the outside, almost deflected. However, Mexico City, for the 5th straight drive, Mike, are in the red zone. Absolutely bonkers.
That is a bonkers statistic to what has been a bonkers first half for the Aztecs. First interception of the season, by the way, for Dexter Jackson in the 3rd of his career. Jackson is now in his 6th season in the SFL, all with the team from La Ciudad de Mexico. That one's tipped and intercepted. Well, it's not going to be 5 straight trips to the red zone with a touchdown for Mexico City, because Albert Begin says, I'm basically the only person on this defense playing well today. I'll do it all myself. I'll tip it and pick it at the same time.
It's a magic trick, you know. It's like that joke, you know, where it's like, well, fine, I guess I'll do it myself.
Exactly. I was struggling to come up with the reference, and that's the one.
yeah. You know, be the change that you want to see in the world, and Albert Begin, one of the co-owners of this Lone Star Glory, doing just that. Taking leadership.
That was my alma mater's motto: be the change. And we have a change of possession. Fennick gonna go deep. It's tipped. It's caught. This time, instead of being intercepted, Deuce Fennick comes down with it, and they're up to the 33-yard line.
I mean, hey, it was still caught. It was just caught by the blue team this time.
Not a lot of balls have been hitting the turf for either side as Lone Star calls a timeout. 3 seconds left to go. We'll go Hail Mary formation here at the end of the first half.
I mean, it only makes sense, you know, just lob that one deep, you know, yeet it as the young people say.
I would prefer not to say it that way, but 3 seconds left. They are gonna come. Oh, they're just gonna run it. They're gonna say we're headed to the half. We don't want to risk a chance of injury on anybody down there at the goal line. So it will just be an Ike McBride run. McBride actually breaks free a little bit and gets 9 yards, but that will be the end of a dominating first half put on by the Mexico City Aztecs. They lead 27-0. 5 possessions, 5 trips into the red zone, and 4 touchdowns from the team in red and white. As we hit the half, Jack, it's pretty obvious what your report from the first half is going to be, but let's hear it anyway.
Well, I mean, look at those statistics. How else do you describe this game than just those statistics? Mexico City has been crushing Lone Star throughout the first half. Only at the last possible second did Lone Star get anything going their way, with Albert Begin's tip and interception, followed up by Ace Fennick deciding to throw the ball deep and have it be caught by his relative Deuce Fennick. It's been overall a pretty not great half for Lone Star, but for Mexico City, I'm not sure if it could have gone much better. Well, maybe if they got a touchdown that last drive, but that's nitpicking.
Yeah, 3 interceptions on the first half for Mexico City. 1 by Ben Sharps, 1 by Liam Ryan, and 1 by Dexter Jackson. As we said going into the half, Mexico City had the ball 5 times and scored 4 touchdowns. And 3 of those were off of interceptions. And I think an unheralded part of the Mexico City domination today has been their defensive line. We have not given enough love to Ziggy Blaylock, Skylar Kingsley, Bernard Patterson, and Dan Fritz. They have put the pressure on Ace Fennick from minute 1. in this game and forced him to make the mistakes that have led to those turnovers. Obviously, we could talk about the Mexico City offense. Matt Wilson doing Matt Wilson things, being insanely accurate with the football. Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley picking up first downs when needed. You know, the wide receiving corps stepping up when Jason Bartley went down with an injury. It's been the complete package for Mexico City, but I do want to shout out their D-line.
Yeah, and of course, there we see the only real bright spot for Lone Star throughout this first half. Let's see if they can make any second half adjustments, because Mike, you know as well as anyone, no SFL game is truly over until the final siren goes.
Are you possibly referencing the last game I called 2 weeks ago that just happened to be the largest comeback victory in SFL history? And of course, I called that game with laryngitis because of course I did.
Well, the real question that becomes, do you still have laryngitis?
No, thankfully. I am perfectly healthy at this moment in time. Second half underway. Thank you for joining us from Medal of Honor Field in Denton, Texas. My name is Michael Cirillo. Jack Brown, the other voice you are hearing on commentary today. Justin Reside and Ike McBride are our statisticians. Couldn't do the game without them. And Cam Nervine, as always, punching the buttons and bringing the broadcast to you both visually and audibly. And if it couldn't get a little worse for the Lone Star Glory, Mexico City did win the toss at the beginning of the game and gets the ball to start this second half. They'll start at their own 22-yard line. Wilson under center, nobody in the backfield. 2 receivers left, single right. 7 in the box, only a 4-man rush for Lone Star. Underneath it goes, and that one could have been trouble as Bogey Barr sees it glide off his fingertips and hit the turf.
Clearly, Matt Wilson, maybe he drank a little bit too much Gatorade, you know, kind of like that condensation on the outside caused his hands to get a little bit slippery. You know, that was not a very good throw to start off the half.
Wilson, 19 of 24 so far. That's 79% completion percentage if you're keeping track. Mike Daggs on the tight end corner. Picks up 6, and it'll be 3rd down and 4.
Daggs picking up good yardage there, and in turn, this should be a relatively easy 3rd down. Mexico City been almost automatic on those today.
Third and 4. Wilson gonna go to Bentley out of the backfield, and he is wrapped up and dropped immediately by Bo Martin Jr., and we are gonna see the first punt of the game for Mexico City. Out trots George Amy. It's amazing that it's taken this long.
Yeah, and honestly, that play, it was a little bit of a questionable throw from Matt Wilson to go right to the safety valve. It looked like there were 2 or 3 receivers open to the top of the screen that could have picked up the first down easily, but he decided to go on the safety valve throw.
Amy puts the right foot to it and hit exactly where he stands is Deuce Fennick. And Lone Star will start at the 37-yard line, which is, I believe, their best field position to start with in the game so far.
I believe so as well. And let's see if Ace Fennick can, you know, use that time that he had to cool his head and possibly get back out there and score some points.
Fennick on the crossing pattern to Fennick. Ace to Deuce, picks up 9.
Simple as they come, nothing too flashy. Lone Star looking to just establish a rhythm.
I just saw the pop-up that said 94 yards passing for Ace Fennick. So he is still under 100 as we begin the second half. Heavy set this time for the Glory on 2nd down and 1. Haven't seen this from them today. And maybe that's why, because driven backwards is Ike McBride by a bevy of Aztec defenders led by Ronnie Watson.
And if there's been and if the passing unit has been struggling from Lone Star, the running unit hasn't exactly picked up the slack, having the worst rushing performance between these two teams so far.
McBride, 30 yards exactly on 7 carries. And almost sacked that time is Fennec, gets it out into space, and it's nearly intercepted. Dexter Jackson almost had his second pick of the ball game. The ball was thrown right to him.
Yeah, they were lucky that that one fell to the ground also because he had a lot of green in front of him. Unfortunately, though, Lone Star's offensive woes continue.
And it's going to be a 3 and out after picking up 8 yards, or actually picking up 9 yards on their first play from scrimmage. They can't get the 2 yards necessary to pick up the first down. And again, not really a good return that time, as Jeffrey Daggs really yet to make a big impact on this game, not rather in the return game or on defense. He has ceded the mantle today to Ben Charbs, who has been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really needed to be doing all that much this year, or this game so far.
Wilson under center, takes the 5-step drop, throws over the top of the defense, and Mike Daggs comes down with it. He uses every inch of his 6'7" frame to pull the ball to his chest and pick up a massive first down.
That's what you like to see out of your big man tight end, the ability to just reach up. Didn't even need to jump. He had the guy defender, he was going, hey, I'm going to go into the air, and then, he just grabbed it.
I like the slight Italian
I did not intend for that, but you know what? We'll roll with it either way.
Wilson with the delayed handoff underneath, almost a little shovel pass to Ray Bentley, and he just picks up 1 yard. The SFL has partnered with Laser to deliver digital SFL player trading cards to its players and viewers during live events on SFL Twitch. Viewers every 30 minutes will be issued cards, or you can buy SFL card packs through Laser's store. Here is 2nd down and 9. Bunch formation left. Only 3 down linemen and only a 3-man rush for Lone Star, and they get home, and it's a desperation heave into the back of a lineman that only saves Matt Wilson from being sacked by Jukin Rukin.
I mean, not a bad decision at all. They keep the ball, and for Mexico City, they get to go one of their stronger suits today, the 3rd down.
The new Season 19 card pack will be available soon. Visit laser.gg, that's LAYZR.gg, and click the Join Alpha button to connect your Twitch account and begin collecting. 3rd down and 9, and it's caught but shy of the line to gain by Nick Lockett. The lockdown coverage applied that time by Rain Rie.
Not a bad coverage at all. They didn't need to worry about getting the ball to the ground. They just need to make sure it didn't get past that yellow line. And they did just that.
For the 2nd time in a row, Max Luna comes out to punt, looking to pin Lone Star deep, and they will do just that as the Glory will begin on their own 6-yard line.
Had to hold my breath there for a minute. I think that was Liam Ryan, the gunner there. Nearly ran it into the end zone, which is not what you want to see when you're a special teams coordinator.
6:57 to go in the 3rd. Thank you for hanging out with us here on Rare Drop Sports on a Saturday night in prime time. Mexico City and Lone Star on your screens. Over on YouTube, it's a defensive showdown as across the middle, turning up field, is Fennec, finds Ziggy Hronik. He'll gain 9. As I said, on YouTube, on the SFL's YouTube channel, it's a defensive battle between Jacksonville and Fort Worth. That is the Marcus Dunhill Bowl as he plays against his former team.
That it is.
So the last time Lone Star got the ball, they got 9 yards on 1st down and couldn't convert. This time, Ike McBride says, no, thank you. I'm going to take this across the line to gain a 2-yard pickup for a 1st down.
Gosh, I'd hate to be the defender who faced Ike McBride's wrath when she just came in and almost like Derrick Henry style stiff arm.
Look how far back the corners are playing off the line here. And into the soft zone. It's fumbled, picked up on the play, and scampering into the end zone is Ronnie Watson for a Mexico City touchdown. We were going to have to review this because it did not look like Ike McBride had the football for long enough. But if this stands, what a ridiculous turn of events this would be.
Let's see. Oh, she held that ball long enough, Mike.
Excuse
she
me,
had a good two or three steps on it.
That was not 89. I believe that was Garrison Blue.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, still.
No, it was Leonard Funk Jr. On his second catch of the day.
Yeah. There's no reason to challenge that, but they're gonna do it anyways. I think this one's gonna stand. He had the ball for about like 2 or 3 steps, long enough to really establish control.
Well, this happens so rarely. We don't even keep this stat, but if this play stands, it will be a scoop and score for Ronnie Watson.
Looking very good in that number 42 Aztecs jersey. Many great players have worn it.
After review, the play stands. The receiver did not
And the play does stand. Ramos Lynn claps it up on the sideline, and it is 33-zip for Mexico City.
Yep, that makes sense. Had enough time with the ball in his hands. Just got knocked out. Couldn't hold on to it, and it's going to be another big touchdown for the Aztecs.
But with the way the lead is going, he's not going to hit it today. But we are on Matt Wilson 50,000 career yard watch. He's got 222 passing yards so far today. And needed about 600 to get to 50,000.
Yeah, would need a legendary performance of this game. And he hasn't really been needing to put up the biggest of numbers, except for, well, the biggest number of all, 34, as that's what the current amount of points Mexico City has is. See, I can read.
34, but yeah, how much of that is attributed to the defense? Yes, the offense has done its job, marched down the field and converted, but, 3 interceptions and now a fumble recovery touchdown. You can't really get much better than that on the defensive side, too. Fennec out again in his 5th SFL season, was an all-star in season 16. There's that all slants pattern, and it picks up about 14 yards and a first down to Garrison Blue. And as a defensive coordinator, I'm not a defensive coordinator, but speaking on behalf of defensive coordinators, that specific play, there's not a lot you can do to cover that. Once all of those players get over the middle on those slants, somebody's got to be open. Few receivers right. Fennec finally is going to be sacked. They've been waiting for it all game long, and eventually Bernard Patterson gets through and brings down Fennec for the first Mexico City sack of the game.
2nd and 13.
Finally, that's pretty much the only thing that the defense has been missing here on the Aztecs. And now their crushing performance continues.
Again, they go to all slants. They're not going to be able to pick up the first down, but they will get most of those yards back. 3rd down and 2 as Ronick makes the catch. Ziggy Ronick is 4 seasons in the Simulation Football League. Just passed 100 receptions this season and has 10 touchdowns to his name. Handoff, Ike McBride tries to power through a duo of Aztec defenders. One of them was Dexter Jackson, the other one Liam Ryan, and couldn't quite get to the first down marker, so it'll be 4th and less than 1.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd fully expect Lone Star to go for this, but clearly we must not be on the same wavelength. They're going to punt this one away.
Now 4:04 and counting to go in the third. The leg of Max Luna forces a fair catch out of Jeffrey Daggs at the 21-yard line. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams, all the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. SimulationFL.net, your home for everything SFL. Wilson, pressure from the backside, gets the pass away, and Jacob McCall scampers down the sideline for a nice first down up to the 35.
It just seems to be that everyone here on this Aztecs offense, and particularly the receiving corps, has been having a great game. And Matt Wilson, he's not faltered a bit.
First and 10 from 35 yards.
Mexico City back in that familiar bunch left, single right. Wilson going to throw the way of the bunch. It's tipped, it's hanging in the air, and it's incomplete. A couple of players had a chance at it there. Rain Rie, and Jeff Spicoli.
I mean, hey, it's not a terrible throw. You know, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. You're up by 5 touchdowns. I'm not really sure what else they could have done.
And there are some people in the chat asking why they're throwing the ball, and I kind of think the same way as well. You've got the stats, you've got the score. You know, try and beef up your running backs a little bit. But it's going to be another play action. Wilson doesn't want to run the ball. He wants to lob it deep down the field, and it's caught in double coverage at the 10-yard line.
Whoa!
Nick Lockett with a ridiculous catch falling away, and Mexico City's in the red zone for the 6th time in the ball game.
Well, clearly we know why they're throwing the ball. They know they can still do it. And rainbow through the sky, and the pot of gold was right there, and it's 1st and 10 from the 11. Not quite first and goal. Not quite first and goal. But it's another trip to the red zone for the Aztecs.
Lockett, the second season player, outjumped both Albert McGinn and Jeff Spicoli at once. Oh, look out. Maybe that's why they're not running it, because Phoenix Jones gets shouldered to the ground aggressively by Juke and Rook, and 2nd down at 11.
Yeah, unfortunately, for Lone Star, their running defense is still pretty good. But Mexico City can just exploit the passing game to no end.
2nd down and 11. I think Lone Star is going to have to take a hard look at their defensive scheme at the end of this and try and ask themselves what went wrong. Jack, I want to ask you this. From a coaching standpoint, from either side, whether you're up 34-0 or down 34-0, can you really take anything from this other than we outcoached them or they outcoached us? Is there anything long-term you can take from a game like this?
Yes and no. It kind of depends on if you can identify the problem easily and look at that touchdown.
Matt Wilson with a rocket back shoulder throw to find Terrell Cooper, and the rookie is into the end zone for the touchdown. One-handed catch, too.
Jeez, Mexico City, I think right now is just trolling. Like they've given up on all sense of seriousness. They're just gonna play around and see what happens.
Well, one extra point was already blocked today. And Cole Varner determined not to let that happen again as he puts it up and good. It is 41-0 as we have 2:05 to go in the third quarter. So continue your expounding on your point, Jack.
Yeah, no, basically what I was trying to say is that it mostly depends on if you can identify the issue quickly or not. Like, if it's a situation where you know exactly what went wrong, then long term, it might actually be a little bit of a benefit to take a game on the chin like this, where you can patch up and focus all your coaching power on the issue. If you can't figure out what it is, though, a game like this can be just the start of a snowball growing and growing. It could possibly really hurt your season.
Now, that was the first career receiving touchdown for Terrell Cooper, and there might not have been a more dramatic way to get it. Falling backwards, one-handed catch on a back shoulder bullet by Matt Wilson. Lone Star back on the field again.
1st and 10 from 11-yard line.
I think at this point, just try to get off the field. Fennec nailed as he lets it go, and it's knocked down by Gerard Brody. Skylar Kingsley applied the pressure from the backside. Brody almost took that the distance.
Yeah, that one was looking like it would just been a pick, and then it would have been 47-0. But luckily for Lone Star, it doesn't quite go that way.
Fennec has all kinds of time to throw, now has to go to the release valve of Ike McBride, and she is run down by a bevy of Aztecs for a loss of 2. There was a 3-man rush, and it looked like Fennec had plenty of time, but eventually Bernard Patterson ripped through the line and was charging down on the Lone Star quarterback.
Yeah, not really much he could have done.
Fennec going long, tipped in the air, incomplete. That excellent last-ditch defending by Jeffrey Daggs. Haven't really called his name at a defensive standpoint today, but he makes an impact there.
Yeah, B. Robo was the intended target, and Lone Star just... A large portion is the skill, but there are times like that where they've just gotten just down unlucky during this game.
Punting from the back of the end zone is Max Luna, and that punt goes absolutely nowhere. It's fielded by Jeffrey Daggs to the 40 and returned up to the Lone Star 31-yard line.
Ball will be placed around the 31-yard
And already Mexico City is playing on the positive end of things. They're pretty much within Cole Varner's field goal range, but given the way they're playing the game, they might be scoring a touchdown in a few seconds.
Here is Bentley, pass out of the backfield, and he had maybe a blocker in Bartley to the outside, chose to bounce it inside, and ran into a wall of blue and gray. 2nd down and 5.
line. 2nd and 4 from 26-yard line.
Handoff. This time Phoenix Jones has a lane to the outside, and he picks up the first down. It's been tough sledding for the Mexico City run game today, and credit to the Lone Star rushing defense. We mentioned much earlier in the game that they're one of the tops in the league, only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns in their first 4 games, and averaged only 80 yards against. And they've been doing pretty well at containing the dual threat that is Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley, but they have been picked apart by the Mexico City passing attack.
And if there's anyone who they've been really picked apart by, is that guy right there, Jason Bartley. Easily one of the two I would say one of the 2 main contenders for player of the game here. Him and Matt Wilson. It's just been ripping Lone Star apart.
That's the end.
We have reached the end of the 3rd quarter. Put your 4s up here from Medal of Honor Field in Denton, Texas. Mexico City 41, Lone Star Glory nothing to speak of. This is the Simulation Football League on Rare Drop Sports. Start of the 4th quarter. Glad you are still with us. Michael Cirillo here along with Jack Brown. Justin Reside and Ike McBride on stats. Cameron Irvine is producing. And it is about to be another chance for Mexico City to get the ball in the end zone. Handoff. Phoenix Jones, he has 1 touchdown already today. Won't get a second one there as he is wrapped up by Jay Mart. Mart has been one of the more prolific tacklers on the field today for Lone Star.
Yeah, him and Oliver McGinn have been really the only two bright spots on this Lone Star Glory defensive unit through this point of the game.
This is the 9th Mexico City possession. They have 5 touchdowns. Could be getting 6 as it's going to be 3rd and goal as Ray Bentley spins his way to the 2.
And I think if they were smart here, they would decide throw the ball.
Well, if they were going purely for another touchdown, it looks like they might be throwing the ball.
Yeah. I mean, they're currently on the precipice of their largest road victory in team history, so anything's possible.
Wilson is going to go down and cause 4th and goal. That time, the offensive line did not hold up. And the beneficiary is Steve Bradley, who picks up the sack for Lone Star. So on to attempt the extra point is Cole Varner. He is pretty much money from anywhere on the field. And that's a chip shot by his standards, 44-0.
And in an emphatic way, Mexico City is going to get their first road win against Lone Star. Currently also, should this scoreline hold, this will be at the tie for the largest road win in Mexico City Aztecs history. Last time they set this, they set it against the then St. Louis Gladiators, now known as the Motor City V8s, back in Season 12 on February the 11th, 2019.
Yeah, well, and a week before that, they got their largest victory in team history, shutting out the Carolina Skyhawks 45-0 on the 3rd of February 2019. That was a good couple of weeks to be a Mexico City Aztec.
I still remember those weeks. Those were a wild time.
Well, we've got 9:25 to go. There could be more scoring here for Mexico City. They look like they're gunning for some of those all-time numbers.
That they are.
Fennec again pressured, and the ball falls incomplete as Dan Triss makes a menace of himself in the backfield.
Dan Triss tried to lay out his body.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jack. Looks like we've sucked all the scoring from the other game. It is 6-6 in the 3rd quarter over there on YouTube between Fort Worth and Jacksonville.
50 total points in these two games right now.
And we've got 44 of them.
Yeah. We're hoarding the points. You know, they're all right here. And they're all on one team at that.
Fennec, 2nd sack of the day as he goes down, and it's Dan Tritz making a noose of himself in the backfield for the second straight time.
Just piled through into the backfield. Dan Tritz, like the Kool-Aid man, bursting through a brick wall. He goes, oh yeah, lays Fennec down, and that's going to make it 3rd and very long.
3rd down and 17 to be precise. Got to get close to the 25-yard line to pick up the first. Fennec slings it middle, and they got close. Oh! How about that on 3rd and 17? I believe that was B. Robo that caught that ball, and yes, it was.
Just laying it out, getting just over the line to gain, and Lone Star, I think that's their biggest play today.
I think that the tip pass completion to Deuce Fennec near the end of the first half gets you beat for sheer yardage, but that was big because it was 3rd and 17, and it would have been another punt deep in their own zone if they had not converted. Ike McBride, excellent stiff arm to lay a defender in the dirt, and pick up 6 yards. So, if they want to match their largest shutout victory, they need 1 more point to Mexico City. But if they want to get to their biggest victory all time, they need 2 more points. The very next season, in season 13, they took the San Francisco Sharks to task 56-10 for a 46-point margin of victory. 2nd and 4 over the middle. That pass is caught, and it looks like Lone Star may be coming alive here in the late going.
Yeah. Or it might be that Mexico City is starting to take their pedal off the gas. Looking to they might actually sub in some of their backups now.
Now, when you're up by 44, it's not hard to see why they're taking the foot off the gas.
Yeah, you can't necessarily blame them.
Middle, oh, that one's almost intercepted. And John Fowler, the rookie round 3 draft pick out of Madison, knocks that one to the ground. If you look at, we're talking about like seasons, 12, 13 here with Mexico City. Honestly shocked that Mexico City over those seasons, I'll include season 14, well, season 11 with that as well. They won 7 games in season 11, 8 games in season 12, and 9 games in season 13, and only won 1 playoff game over those 3 seasons.
Yep, it was a quarterfinal in season 11, if I remember correctly. Not sure against who, but I don't exactly remember.
And if you think about the Mexico City team that won the championship all the way back in season 9, yes, that was prime Ray Bentley, but in the regular season, they only went 8-4.
Yeah.
So you'd think of the more dominant teams in SFL history. The 2 times that this franchise has got to the championship game, in season 5, they were the Santa Fe Gorillas in their inaugural season. They got to the championship and lost in the best game in SFL history. I don't think anybody can doubt that. They lost to DC on a last-second play. But they went 6-2 in the regular season that time. And they don't, of course, went 8-4 when they went to the championship game in season 9. As they're going to get the ball back again up another Max Luna punt. But the times that they have been most dominant in the regular season, it hasn't really worked out for them in the playoffs. Their 2 9-win seasons was season 13, lost in the first round, and season 17 lost in the second round. And then, of course, season 7, they went 10-2, their best record ever, and lost in the first round.
Yeah, the playoffs have not exactly treated these Aztecs too kindly. Well, the regular season, they're easily one of the best teams of all time.
And it looks like this is going to be all Phoenix Jones from here on out. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. And so, since we're talking about the Mexico City history, let's dive into the history of the Lone Star Glory, because as we mentioned, they right at the top of the broadcast, they've been all over the place. Most of the time in Dallas under different franchise names. There's Ray Bentley pounding his way through the middle up to the 34. But they spent a 2-season stint over in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle. This team has had some of the best regular seasons in league history, some of the worst regular seasons in league history, made the playoffs, made the championship game rather 3 times, and have lost all 3 times.
Yeah, they've been here, there, and everywhere.
So let's take a look at those championship seasons. Season 8, the Dallas Roughnecks, they got to the championship game after going 8-4 in the regular season. And that was the last time they were in the championship game as a Dallas team owned by Stephen Mullinax. They went to the championship game their first season in Seattle when Crash Combs was the owner, as we are approaching midfield here as Phoenix Jones gets up to the 40. They went 10-2 that season, lost in the championship game to Florida, or at that time, Alaska. And then their second season in Seattle was one of the worst in franchise history. They went 4-8 and missed the playoffs entirely, and then they moved back to Texas to become the Lone Star Glory. And they're not going to be able to get the first down here with Ray Bentley. So it's going to be punting territory again for Mexico City, 4:30 to go. They made the championship game in their fourth season as Lone Star last season, season 18, and lost out to the nightmare to play that is Baltimore. But again, they only went 8-4 in the regular season, then made a run in the playoffs. That seems to happen a fair bit in the SFL. It doesn't matter how you get there. It just matters if you can perform in crunch time. Four minutes even to go. Fair catch called for and grabbed by Deuce Fennick. The SFL produces over 400 live events each year, but don't miss community content creators and their creations. Catch SFL Nights with AJ Stryker. Say it with your chest. Around the SFL and more, covering season 19 and beyond. To check out archived versions of community shows, visit simulationfl.net and click the logo of your favorite form of SFL entertainment. Laser duck pass that just went past everybody. Looking for Greg Soto on the outside by Fennick. And while we're on the topic of SFL content, I do want to give a shout out to Tyler Falk and say thank you for producing NETMA for the last couple of seasons and keeping the SFL community entertained, engaged, and informed. Just announced this week that show will be closing down. Lob over the middle, pass caught by Soto. And here comes the up-tempo offense from Lone Star. Fennick, middle. That's a nice catch in tight coverage by Deuce Fennick. Excuse me, that was Soto again. And this may be Lone Star's time to make a house call with the backups in for Mexico City late in this game. And stepping out of bounds after not getting very far that time is B. Robo.
A pickup of 3 on the play.
Lone Star glory in all of their seasons in the SFL as the Dallas Law, Roughnecks, and Lobos and the Seattle Tyrants have never been shut out at home.
No. I mean, there still is time.
And there is still time, and that's a nice deflection as the pass to the outside to Deuce Fennick goes begging. This would be the largest margin of defeat for Lone Star. Their previous is 34. And the only time they've ever been shut out in team history was on the road against the Louisville Wolfpack back in season 7, all the way back in 2016.
Oh man, we're digging up the ancient history here. Getting Louisville, team that went undefeated, went all the way to the championship, then took a big ol' L, and then folded right after.
Exactly.
Very funny.
The early days of the SFL were wild, with teams folding and creating and going on left and right. It's a lot more structured now. Lone Star is in the red zone, I believe, for the first time today. And Ike McBride is tackled in bounds, so the clock ticks down under 3 minutes. Just heard from Cameron Irvine, and over the middle, one-handed catch. Deuce Fennick gets to the 4. I'll get to that stat at the conclusion of this drive. Can Lone Star finally get into the end zone? It's Ike McBride on a run, lowers the shoulder, and barrels over Jermaine Menafield across the goal line. And Lone Star will not be shut out at home. They still maintain that record.
Yeah. However, this is still set to be their largest home defeat. Be a 37-point loss at the moment. But anything can happen.
So, according to Cameron Irvine, the largest blowout in league history was Queen City over St. Louis. Oh, no, excuse me. It is Vancouver over Houston in season 15, 76-13. That's basketball territory from the Legion.
I actually remember watching that game, and I remember, here's a funny thing. I actually got a little bit mad when that final touchdown was scored. I think it was a pick six. Because the scoreline before that was 69-13. And, you know, I have a sense of humor, right? But when the final touchdown was scored, I was like, dang it, I wanted 69 points in an SFL game. Unfortunately, we can't have nice things.
The extra point was up and good by Matt Fennick. In his first season with the team, spent a couple of years over in Denver before coming over here.
All in the family.
Yeah, it really is. Ace, Deuce, and Matt, all on the Lone Star Glory. Tomorrow on Next Level Sports, the SFL coverage continues with a doubleheader at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Washington, D.C. is where we start. The 3-1 D.C. Dragons will welcome the 3-1 Vancouver Legion in a rematch of the thrilling 55-52 shutout that kicked off season 18. In the second game, Seattle gets its first nationally televised game in team history as heavy underdogs on the road in Baltimore. Live Look-Ins features London and Sioux Falls and Queen City, Indianapolis. For a channel guide and more info about Next Level Sports, visit NLSE.com. And just for clarification, that is the new Seattle franchise, the Seattle Nemesis that have just joined for this season. The Seattle we have been talking about, the Seattle Tyrants, was a former brand of this franchise, which is currently the Lone Star Glory. We have hit the 2-minute warning. Mexico City 44, Lone Star 7 are coasting to their first ever victory on the road at Lone Star. This is the Simulation Football League on Rare Drop Sports. Handoff, middle, Bentley goes nowhere. Lone Star calls their second timeout. Lost one to a replay challenge early in the third quarter. That was on the scoop and score by Ronnie Watson. So as we wind down towards the end of this ball game here, Jack, I want to take a look, a closer look at the games tomorrow, and I want to know what you have your eye on the Next Level Sports and Twitch block as Lone Star takes their final time out.
Well, I mean, first off, for me at least, Mike, one of the big ones I'm looking at is, it's not one of the games actually on Next Level. It's on, I think it's the SFL's Twitch page, London versus Sioux Falls. London has never beat Sioux Falls, but with Motor City just beating them, that's a big one that can really shape up both the North and Central Division. For the two main games, it has to be Vancouver, D.C., two of the top teams in the league. Their only losses, respectively, are to the Baltimore Vultures. And realistically, I can see that game going either way. The Baltimore-Seattle game should also be interesting because you always got to be afraid of a team with no expectations like Seattle is right now. I remember back when Charleston played them week 1, I was absolutely terrified of playing them, mostly because I didn't know what was going to happen. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, if you lose an expansion team, you really got to take her on the chin.
Well, that was, you ended up winning by a healthy margin to Charleston, but the game was still a little bit wild and back and forth. Out of Browns goes Ike McBride on the swing pass. 1:42 to go, clock stops. I think for me, I'm looking at Indianapolis and Queen City as two teams that are looking to make a statement and really try and cement themselves as contenders in this season. I'm looking more at Queen City than Indianapolis. Indianapolis, an expansion team. They've been a little bit hard done in the early going. But Queen City has the team and has the resources in the coaching room to make a run at basically every league championship. And remember, the Queen City Corsairs / New York Knights, one of the most decorated teams in league history and pretty much dominated the early years the most dominant team in league history, although Baltimore is getting close. That basically dominated the early years of the Simulation Football League. And every year, I'm expecting Eric Barkley and company to turn it around and make a push for a title. It may not be this year, but I think they're headed in the right direction after a couple of down years in upstate New York.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is also kind of like a real big crossroads for the Corsairs as a franchise. You know, Tom Riddell now taking over general manager duties. And, you know, through the offseason, I'll give him credit. He did one heck of a job considering what he had to build. And the fact that, you know, Queen City was one of the teams that didn't have to, like, dive into the pool of SFLM talent in weeks 1 and 2. That's a big accomplishment.
Nice little first down conversion from Ace Fennec to B. Robo to move the chain. Stop the clock, a minute 23 to go. Lots of good action coming your way on the Simulation Football League and Next Level Sports and Twitch tomorrow. Let's take a look at next week. Mexico City back at home at Estadio Matt Wilson to face the Florida Storm in a matchup of extreme heavyweights. Two teams that really have it in them to challenge for the championship this year. And I believe Lone Star, after playing 5 straight weeks after this game, is off next week.
They get to take a bit of a break.
Yeah, they return in week 7. As another pass over the middle, another first down. B. Robo picks it up again. As they are home again against the Denver Nightwings here at Medal of Honor Field. 48 seconds left, and the clock is stopped via spike. And I think after a game like this, it's good for Lone Star to be on a bye week because they can take the time to put this game behind them and spend 2 weeks getting ready for Denver. A Denver team that is no pushover, but not really close to their form that they had in winning a couple of SFL championships in the past few seasons. Fennec fires, caught, immediately hauled down, but that was B. Robo again. He's been the go-to target in this fourth quarter when Lone Star's been up against the Mexico City backups on defense.
Surprised they're still spiking.
I think Lone Star, that being, just wants to put it in the end zone and get some more points on the board. But I agree with you that the Vancouver DC game is going to be very interesting because that is a matchup of two of the teams that are log-jammed for second place in the league at 3-1. We've got Baltimore and London at 4-0. And then Arizona, DC, Houston, and Sioux Falls and Vancouver all at 3-1. And I think of those teams, I think Sioux Falls and Houston are the two teams that are 3-1 when nobody really expected them to start that way. And Mexico City now is going to join them at that 3-1 mark after this game.
Yeah, meanwhile, Lone Star not off to a great start through the first 5 weeks. They're going to fall to 2-3 from a team that just was in the championship game. I know they went through a change in ownership, but the actual complexion of the team didn't change that much. They're going to be falling down.
Touchdown, Lone Star. Greg Soto gets into the end zone, and it's been 2 late touchdowns for Lone Star to get them on the board. So we had a chance at some history in terms of margins of victory or shutouts and what have you. But I don't think we're going to get any of those. But The most important thing is that Mexico City has broken their road duck against the Lone Star Glory / Seattle Tyrants / Dallas Lobos Law and Roughnecks franchise. My goodness, that's hard to say in one breath. And finally have won on the road. With 18 seconds to go, Matt Fennec puts the extra point up, and good. 44-14 is the score now with 18 seconds to go. And this kickoff impending from Matt Fennec should end the ball game. Jack, I just mentioned a bunch of teams and where they are in the standings early on in the season. Is there any team that you have been pleasantly surprised by, let's say, in the early going?
Oh, it's easy. Motor City. Like, the team, like right now, they're 2-3, but considering Lone Star got that.
Wow, Lone Star grabs the onside kick. Leonard Funk Jr., he's been in the news a lot today. He dropped the ball that allowed for the scoop and score early on for Mexico, or early in the second half for Mexico City. And also had a incomplete pass in the thrown his way in the first half. But he does pick up the onside kick and allows Lone Star 17 seconds more of offense. I agree with you, Motor City, but I'm going to go with their fellow. I mean, Motor City's not an expansion team; they're a relocation. But I want to go with Minnesota. They showed very good strength yesterday in beating Motor City, and also as an expansion team, starting 2-1 in the top 10 of the SFL right now in terms of ranking. I mean, you can't ask for much better for new ownership and a new franchise. It's whether they will be able to continue that along the entirety of the season is yet to be seen, but it's been a good start for the Legend.
Yeah, hoping that they don't fall prey to what seems to happen every year here in the SFL. A team will start really hot, and then they'll just go ice cold and, like, lose out, like, through 7 games, and
that was almost complete for a Hail Mary touchdown by Hronik. Had the ball knocked out of his grasp by, I believe that was Ben Charbs again. He's been the man back there all day for Mexico City. And there's 6 seconds left, so we're going to do it one more time.
Take 2.
The Hail Mary formation comes out again for Lone Star, down 44-14, wanting maybe to get a third, fourth quarter touchdown. Fennec nails as he lets it go. It's going to fall well short of the end zone and incomplete. And that is the end of the game as Mexico City dominates from start to when they took the starters out of the ball game midway through the fourth quarter. It ends Mexico City 44, Lone Star 14. I don't think you can say much more than what we've already said about this one, Jack.
Yeah, this game was utter domination from Mexico City. Really, from even the outset, this game was Mexico City's. Like, I can't imagine a timeline where knowing what we know now, Lone Star would have even been within a shout of victory.
That was the fumble, and I don't think we ever credited at the time, but Gerard Brody punched the ball out that allowed Ronnie Watson to rumble forward for the touchdown off the scoop and score. And it was as dominant a first half as you could have imagined for the Mexico City Aztecs. Let's just run through what happened in the first half. Interception, Mexico City touchdown. Interception, Mexico City touchdown. Lone Star punt, Mexico City touchdown. Lone Star punt, Mexico City touchdown. And then they traded turnovers to end the half. But that was 4 touchdowns on 4 subsequent possessions for Mexico City. In the second half, it slowed down a little bit with the Aztecs only getting into the end zone once. But man, this was as dominant as a performance as you will ever see in the Simulation Football League. Ramos Lynn and company woke up today and chose violence.
That they did. They realized, oh look, Houston's ahead of us. Let's scare the life out of them. And they did just that. 44-14, a 30-point shellacking. And let's be real here, in competitive play, they won it 44-zip. So, on the whole, I mean, what more is there to say apart from who's the player of the game?
It's going to be Matt Wilson, obviously. He takes a big chunk out of that chase to reach the legendary 50,000 passing yards in his career. He took about half of it away. He's about 300 yards away. He had 4 touchdowns through the air today. And really, from start to finish, it was Mexico City domination. For Cameron Irvine, who has been our producer and produces every single Simulation Football League broadcast, our statisticians, Ike McBride and Justin Rezai, thank you so much for your help today. Jack Brown has been my partner in the broadcast booth. My name is Michael Cirillo, wishing you a very pleasant good evening, wherever you may be.